Good morning, good morning, good morning still. Good morning. We're still at good morning. It's 8 a.m. and we're about to have a discussion about soul ties. But before we get started, I have some messages. Be aware of your electronics, heavy machinery, any machinery. Be pay aware, pay attention to loose pop parts, screws, and things of that nature. Message for truck drivers, specifically truck drivers or people who do long, tedious, repetitive jobs, but mainly truck drivers because they're also susceptible to traffic hypnosis. Hypnosis comes from doing something long term. It's relaxing, and you kind of detach a little bit. So truck drivers, this message is for you. I am advocating actively right now for your companies to pay more attention to your mental health. You guys are one, essential workers, and two, you have a lot of elements to deal with on the road. You have family that you might not see a lot. You have the traffic to contend with. You have so many rules and regulations. You have to worry about being pulled over randomly and checked and all. And also, you have to keep everyone safe because you can have anywhere from 80,000 to plus worth of weight on the road that you are in charge of, including yourself. And you have to make sure that you and everybody else around you remain safe because you basically are the knight of the road. You play a lot of roles out there as you drive, and it makes your job not only draining, it makes it dangerous. It makes it very tedious, and your mental health should be taken care of. There should be a lot of talks about you guys being the essential workers that you are. You guys move our goods, and thank you for all the work that you do and for making it safely back to your homes. Yeah, that also goes for a family member of mine who passed away due to a horrible tractor trailer accident. Okay. Yeah, it happens a lot. I'm not the only one who's lost a family member due to those things. So I just would like to be mindful that yes, we have to pay attention. All that braking and stopping and trying to get a lawsuit on these guys, it's horrible. You won't survive. They won't survive. You think that these people get into accidents and they're like, oh, okay. A lot of times that's just bravado because their nerves are messed up and they feel horrible about having accidents. They feel horrible about the losses that happen because if anything happens, they lose money, they lose status. The number on their truck goes into a little book. Everything is counted against them. So shout out to the truck drivers, and also want to let you know this isn't what we came here to talk about. So if you want to be childish, go find a child's website or channel and you do that there. This is not what this is about. But anywho, what I was saying about the truck drivers, more appreciation for the truck drivers because they have they have a well of things coming for them. And I just wanted to be mindful of that on the road because it is a very dangerous job and it is an essential job. We need toilet paper, we need goods. Walmart needs its supplies. Home Depot needs its supplies. The market needs its supplies. And our mail, it comes in on a truck. It comes on the big truck. So let's be mindful of all of our situations. So back to what I was talking about the soul tie. What they are and what they are not. Good morning to everyone who wants to know about this soul tie thing, because I think we're getting to a point where it needs to be explained. Okay. Divine masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine, distorted masculine, distorted feminine. Everybody needs to be here that wants the information. Okay. So soul tie is basically your heart, your feelings, your mind resonating completely with another person's soul. And sometimes it's good and a lot of times it's bad because A lot of times when you get a soul tie, it's your whole being separating from you and attaching to another person. And the horrible thing that happens during these situations is you're often putting someone above yourself, your health, and your soul purpose. Um, Usually, God, which he does not like that. If you don't have it in your relationship, if you don't have a spiritual connection, even before the religion, you kind of doing yourself a disservice because it is easily to get attached to the reward of another person. It's easy to get attached to let's just have it mind-blowing intercourse. It's easy to get attached to someone's smile and warmth when you've been neglected of it or you haven't had it or you've never had a representation of it in your life personally. You've seen it on TV, which makes you want it, but to actually experience it is totally different. And those of us who love and love completely, they know that it's a rare thing to experience a person on that type of level. And a lot of times when we create soul ties, we forget about everything. Sometimes we even forget to breathe. Okay. And that's usually what a soul tie is. A soul tie does not have to be romantic. It happens with parents to kids and kids to kids and adults to adults. It also happens in friendship. It looks like you really caring about a person to the point where you throw your own needs and your own wants and everything just basically takes crumbs while you give your all in one way or another, right? And that is what a soul tie is when you resonate with somebody on that point. And a lot of times we've created soul ties. And I remember is like a guy, he was like, that's witchcraft, right? No, a soul tie is just a very heartfelt feeling. And it looks like you dreaming about a person. Sometimes you speak about them and they pop up or they show up or you might see their name places. It's just the universe working in tandem to see if you're going to either cold turkey it or nurture it. What the universe never counted in was you attacking it because you don't understand, which is totally understandable, and I'll explain. A lot of people attack because they don't understand. They're like, why do I love this man? Why do I love this woman? Why can't I get this person off my mind? It's because at some point you've abandoned pieces of yourself and replaced it with pieces of that person. One good example of a soul tie is when a person, let's say, future fakes. They tell a person that, oh, I want to marry you, I love you, we're going to have kids, this, that, and the third. Now, the person who's listening, this person could be a genius. This person could have 50 degrees or whatever. This person could be so smart, or the person cannot be smart. It all depends on where you are and what you're taught in life. Um, the thing is, it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with heart resonating. Some people want to love so bad that they'll love on a bad person. Yep. Because it feels familiar, because they've been around not so great people all their life. So they feel like they can love that person back to whatever ideal, even though sometimes the person doesn't even know what the ideal is because they've experienced so much toxicity. And this is why you have to do a lot of soul searching. This is why you have to do your spiritual journey. And this is why you have to go within and basically remember all the things that happened from your childhood going up, because those things are like your nourishment. They are your nutrients. They are in your body, is like memory foam. These things come up doing different traumas, doing different touch, doing different interactions, doing different smells. Smells can evoke like a really wild memory in you. This is not about my hair. This is about what I'm talking about. So go over somewhere else. All right. So what we're talking about is soul ties. So you have to be very careful with what and who you connect yourself to and what you abandon. And most of the times it's you abandoning yourself. Now, What a soul tie isn't, in this case, is a man basically, like I said, future faking with you and then having really serious intercourse with you. And I mean like really. And sometimes they run red lights. And I'll tell you, that is close to some type of ritual, okay? Because you should not be ingesting anyone's fluids, honestly, because that's not cool and it's not natural. It's weird. You shouldn't do it and it's not right. But we've learned some pretty wild things over the years, taken from all the different cultures. But it's time to unlearn some of those things. So some guys will initiate intercourse while you're on your menstrual, and some even go as far as to go down there orally. And that is a form of making a soul tie. Some guys do it on purpose because they've experienced it and they like toxic and they like going through the motions. Some people like toxicity. Some people like the push and pull because it releases the amount of endorphins to keep them going, which perverts them in a way to where they can't have a normal relationship with a person. They need something toxic to happen to feel loved. And while that might work in the short term, it's pretty dangerous because as the toxicity goes on, the desensitivity comes up. And now we've got people who claim they really love each other, like working to see the insides. Like, seriously, we're busting heads to the white meat and all sorts of stuff. I do not promote violence. But what I will say is it's better you cold turkey anything like that because things can escalate. And this is the thing, peers see this. And some peers are good peers and they'll pull you out of it and they'll say, hey, let's reset. You need to take a step back from this. This isn't healthy. But we have some other peers who they're toxic themselves and they love to be a part of the tea, especially when it's not them. Well, until they get caught. So then you got to pay attention to that because that's a whole different type of tie. That is going in with dissemblers, and they'll support all the toxic interaction because they're kind of living their life vicariously through you. You're getting in trouble and they're not, but they're watching it and they're still getting the same release that you would be getting, but it's indirect. So it's like it's very cowardly. So that is what is not a soul tie. That is basically somebody ritualizing you and putting some things on you that you shouldn't have going. It's unnatural. So yeah, with the soul tie, a lot of times you have to basically go cold turkey and go through the withdrawals. Find out why you're feeling that way about that person and find a way to get back to yourselves. What did you like? What was important to you prior to this person? What's important to you, period? What makes you happy genuinely? What can you do to take this person off your mind besides getting into another relationship? Because that can create another unhealthy soul tie. And what's crazy about that is if you don't take the time to separate from that person, not only will you be connected to that person, then you'll connect to another person. So then you've got all these ties, and now you're Spider-Man. You've got webs everywhere, and you have no way to control these things. You have no cartridges. You have no refills. You don't even know. You have no Doctor Strange. You have no one to help you get this through. So you have to be careful. And everybody is not meant to be laid down with. Everybody is not meant to sit at your table. You're not supposed to eat with everybody either. I had to realize that I used to bloat when I was in bad company. The food that I ate reacted bad in my body when I ate it because I was in bad company, and that's sometimes what a soul tie can look like. Either a person can make you sick or they can like bring like really volatile emotional feelings up in you. And it's because of that soul tie. It's because you laid with that person and not only did you feel comfortable enough to sleep, something in you released. Something that resonated with this person's soul connected in some way. Doesn't make it bad, but it also means that you need to be more aware of yourself. Because when you create those situations, I think the healthiest love is the love that you're able to leave fully intact. A toxic love is a love that you can't leave and it tears you apart. And then sometimes we have instances where a person not understanding feels like they have to act out in a way to make a person feel the way they feel. Um Honestly, you want to be careful with trying to put your feelings on other people because some people don't have feelings. They cut off their feelings a long time ago. So you'll be just beating your head against a wall and then you'll be locked up or somewhere else because you've tried to force these things on a person. So you don't want to do that. That is not a great example of fixing a soul tie, enacting a soul tie, trying to figure it out. Is best usually when you go into hermit mode and go back to yourself, because a soul tie is basically you've abandoned yourself in order to be in with someone else, whether it's good or bad. And you don't want to do that. I mean, it will have you feeling all sorts of ways. I even was laughing. I seen this, I seen something, I think it's on my feed where I was saying that somebody was saying something about early career Mariah Carey put witchcraft on him. Honestly, sir, your soul was weak at the time in which you laid down with this person and you idolized that person so much. That's why you thought they was Mariah Carey, which is a freaking compliment if you ask me, even though they probably weren't. But yeah, you put this person on a pedestal, which meant that at some point you abandoned yourself. You abandoned your values. Maybe you didn't think you were good enough. Maybe you thought this person was too good for you. It was a lot of things that went on, and apparently this person, whoever they put it on you so darn good, you felt like they put a spell on you, but actually it was your mind and the intensity of which you put on them. That person probably does not even care about the interaction, honestly. Or if they do care about the interaction, they're so, you know, clear and balanced with themselves. It's, if you don't like me, I'm good. If you like me, I'm good. But sometimes we have to kind of try to understand because we want to understand before the toxicity comes in. And it's so easy. And I think this is where a lot of people say they don't play video games, because when you play video games, I'm going to liken it to that. When you play video games, you get dominating. You want to get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people look at love like video games. They look at intercourse and dating like video games. And what they don't understand is it takes power, it takes plug, it takes source, it takes time. And in some instances you have to buy like stuff. You have to buy things. But what happens is you become detached and you could become so competitive that you also start looking at all of your relationships like this game. I don't know if you've ever been in a room with a gamer, but they get really emotional and they get really intense. Even when you see people watching sports and some things, they get really emotional. They get really intense. I've actually heard people say I hate you in certain things on these games when they're on there. So imagine that same kind of dominance coming off the game and coming onto your body. And at this point, this person is disassociated with their heart. So now you're just Candy Crush level and they're just looking for a super move. Yeah, let's stay away from those soul ties, because that person will not only not understand in which the way you work because they're detached completely, and now they see everything as a conquer thing. Like, imagine someone playing Call of Duty with your heart, and then they've gotten their friends to log on too. This is the reality in which we're dealing with. So stay alert about these soul ties and just putting yourself in with other people, and try to be balanced so that when it ends, you can let it go. because nobody wants to deal with the residue of someone on you, so the residue of hearts. And I remember it was a song, She Can Make You Cry. No, I Can Make You Cry. I have your heart, but your body and your soul is over there with her. Like, let's try to leave intact. Okay? So, yeah, that was all I really wanted to discuss about. I wanted to talk about these soul ties and how some things aren't soul ties. Some people are really trying to do weird things to you. They're trying to do rituals and put things on you because you don't know what other people believe in. You don't know how weird people can be behind closed doors. Me, myself, I don't put my hands in any foolery because you have to pay for that. You have to pay spiritually and everything, spiritually, financially, and emotionally, and everything when you put your hands in bad works, when you have bad intentions for people. And keep in mind that some of this stuff might appear to be effective temporarily, but those backfires look like your heart being broken. These backfires look like your tires being slashed. These backfires look like a baby you did not want, don't desire, or don't care for. So let's be mindful and not try to make another generation of confused individuals. Okay. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you all later.